Whether you wear a cowboy hat or a farmer's cap, if you've got cattle, you pay your beef checkoff. But do you know where it goes and who spends it and if it's worth it? Well, this is Baxter Black, and I found the answers on mybeefcheckoff.com. When I sell a critter, I'm supporting projects that keep consumers loving beef. And volunteers, beef and dairy folks like you and me, decide how the dollars are spent, and they're good at it. Each dollar invested returns a $5 bill, so get to know your checkoff at mybeefcheckoff.com.
Baxter Black on U.S. Farm Report is brought to you by the Beef Checkoff. If you have questions about how your beef checkoff is invested, who makes those decisions, and what's the return, you'll find all the answers and so much more on mybeefcheckoff.com.
And welcome back. For Baxter Black, there's lots of great things about life on his Arizona ranch. Today tells us about one of his favorites.
I have calved a lot of heifers in my life. Thousands of them. And all of us who've had that type of experience know that after the sweat and the strain, the slick and the sticky, the hope and the pull, the grunt and the sigh, when that little creature plops out on the ground, sometimes there is a moment that time stands still. A second or two or five, we stare and our world is suspended, waiting for a sign. And then that new baby sniffs or blinks or sneezes or wiggles an ear, and at that moment, it feels like the burden has been lifted from our shoulders. We did it. We did it again. Just regular old common people like us, engaged in that age-old profession of stockman, have taken part in a miracle. Life being passed from one generation to the next. And it's no small thing to be a part of. And every time it happens, it renews us somehow. The miracle never diminishes. Last week, the high-horn red cow finally calved. Baby was solid red like Mama. I sat there the next day, a horseback, and studied him for a few minutes, long enough to figure out if it was a bull calf and getting plenty to eat. When I was satisfied, I kind of swung away and started back through the mesquite on a cow trail. And I heard a mama bawling, and I looked back to see it was that high-horned red cow. Well, I looked around for her, and then I looked down, and there he was, that little calf right behind my horse's hind leg, trailing along. Well, he looked confused. He could hear his mama, but something didn't smell right. Well, I reached down and patted his head, and he looked up at me and said, "What are you doing here?" About that time, my dog stuck his nose under his tail. He jumped like a deer, straight-legged, and trotted back towards his mama in that sort of ungainly, trying out their new legs kind of gait. It was pretty funny, actually. The dog and I couldn't help but laugh. This is Baxter Black from out there.
Next week, Baxter talks about the special connection he has witnessed between women and horses. Until then, check out his work online at baxterblack.com.